If you're a serious hockey player, odds are you probably understand the mental game matters when it comes to performance. You understand that there's something about the mental game that's going to help you get better. But you probably don't know exactly what that looks like. What does it actually mean to work on your mental game? Now, the core tactic and the core technique that most mental coaches teach is visualization. And the way that I look at visualization is it's a component of mental programming. And when I say mental programming, what I mean is that it is programming your mind and programming the software in your mind to do what you want it to do. And so what we really want to focus on when we're learning to mental program and use visualization as that tool is understanding how to actually get your brain to make connections in your mind. So making connections to a situation and then having a response to that situation. And so in this video, what I'm going to do is actually break this down in steps. And we're going to go through all of the steps and actually help you understand each component of it. And it is 6 steps. So if you're ready, let's dig in. So step number 1 is understanding the situation. And what this really means is it's the if. So now naturally the next component of the situation is if I'm, let's say, out front of the net, then you do something. And it's often neglected that we want to also include variables. And so what I mean by variables is actually having different things that can happen, small components of a situation. So you have the basic situation of I'm out front, and you say, if I'm out front and I get the puck and the goalie is here and the defenseman is here. You see how it starts to allow you to have variables that come into play? Now, when you have those variables established and you create those in your mind, then the next component now becomes your response. So this is the then statement. So if you watch this video, then you're going to go take action. See how that's a life situation scenario? Now, if you get the puck out front and the goalie is ahead of the play and the defender is behind the play and there's an opening, now you see the complexity, then I shoot the puck back to where the goalie came from into that open space. See how now you can start to get refined in terms of what decisions you make. Now, this is all done before you do the visualization. You establish this, you actually write it out and have, if this happens and this, then I do this and this and this, right? So you add variables to the actual situation and then the response to the situation. You establish these, you create these, and what you're really building out is an operation manual for your mind. It is a set of what I call neurolinks, so associations in your mind between a situation and a response. If you can design your whole game around this, you are going to make the types of decisions you want to make. Now, the most common issue I see is that players don't actually understand how to work on the variables. They completely ignore the variable component, or they don't actually pay attention to what are the responses I really want to have. So they just do a few general visualizations and they practice a few situations, but they don't create any variety in terms of different situations, different variables, different responses, and then they wonder why they can't handle different random scenarios. They're only visualizing perfect plays, but you need to create variety in order to actually get the responses you want from yourself. Now, this technique is something I teach all players, and the reason I teach them to do this is because the game is actually more seen through everybody's own perception of speed. And Daryl Belfry talks about this. So you have speed of hand, you have speed of skating, and you have the speed of mind. But everybody sees the game at different speeds. So some players are going to see the game at 90 miles an hour and it's happening so fast and it's so quick in their mind because they're not able to process it effectively. And then some people see it in slow motion, and that allows them to seem like they're able to make better decisions because they're actually seeing the game and perceiving it from a slower experience. So if we want to actually improve on the speed at which we can make decisions, what I recommend is that you follow the 25, 50, 100, 200 rule. And what this means is that when you visualize, you start off and get comfortable at 25% speed. So do it slowly build up. And what you'll notice is that anytime you start to do this, you start to notice gaps in your decision making. Your brain doesn't actually know how to either visualize it or what to do in a certain scenario. And so there's a gap. So you need to go back through that in slow motion, and get comfortable with that situation. Then you speed it up to 50% and do it again. Then 100, then 200%. What this does is it teaches your brain how to process at a variety of speeds, and you get better and better at being able to perceive the situation. Whenever I work with college guys, with professional guys, or with any high-level players in general, this is a technique most players aren't taught, but once you try it and you actually see how effective it is, you start to teach your brain to process situations in chunks. So you learn how to process the whole situation, then you learn how to connect the beginning, middle, and end of a response to it. So you instantly go from situation, then the variables, then the response. Situation, variables, response. And it happens so quickly. And this is what you want to have happen because it's going to allow you to make quick decisions. And it's also going to allow you to perceive the game at a slower rate, which allows you to make better decisions. Now, the next key component is having emotions tied in. You need to have emotions as part of this because they are what actually program your mind to want to do it again. If you think about it, our brains are wired to survive. And so what does survival mean? Well, it's typically going to be pleasure. It's feeling good. So if I do something and I get a good feeling, then I look to do that thing I did again. So if I get the puck in the slot and I shoot back, or then I shoot back somewhere and I get a good feeling, my brain says, well, let's keep shooting it back to that spot. So what you want to do in your visualizations is have a situation, then have a response to that situation, and then feel positive emotions, gratitude, excitement, joy. And a lot of times the best thing to do is to actually celebrate like you made the play, like you scored the goal, and feel really good, which is training your subconscious mind and programming it to want to do that thing again. And then the final component of programming your mind using visualization is simply just doing repetitions. Understanding that this is not something you're just going to do once and then it's over. This is something you want to repeat and do consistently and do many different repetitions. And as you do more repetitions, you're going to get better and better. My recommendation is just start with a 10 by 10 technique. So start with 10 different scenarios and do 10 reps of each every day for 10 days. Just try that out, see how you like it. And if you find that it's starting to click and it's really connecting, then boom, you're good to go. If you're not and you're still confused, I'm going to have a visualization course that I put out that's going to give you more guided sessions, give you more in-depth explanation, give you more different techniques and tools you can use. But until that point, the key is try this out and understand it's typically going to take around 100 to 300 repetitions of mental work, of doing the visualization reps and simulating those experiences to actually get good at it. Just like you didn't instantly step on the ice and know how to skate or shoot effectively, same thing with visualization. But once you get better at it, you start to realize that all of these steps become a natural part of your preparation process, and this is how you separate yourself and actually get to the next level and push yourself beyond everybody else. Because everybody's doing the skill stuff, everybody's doing the workouts, but what's going to push you beyond is actually helping you to really do more and have clear, defined responses to all situations. Again, it's know the situations, know the variables, know your responses to those variables, and then rep those out consistently. The more you do this, the better you will get. And if you have any questions, comment them below for future videos. I'll dig into them. And if you want to learn more, there'll be a link to actually just click onto the website. There's a full mental free training there talking about beliefs, mindset, all that different stuff. Everything you need to actually take your mental game to the next level. So check that out. We also have a podcast, the audio version. I hope you got a lot of value out of this. Share this with somebody if it was a helpful video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.